Hi, everybody. My name is Riley Taggett. I am a research intern with the Vision Center, and I am joined here today with Tracy Dao. She is a Vietnamese student currently pursuing dual undergraduate degrees in international business and finance at Washington State University. Her academic journey took an intriguing turn when she became a scholar at Granger Cobb Senior Living, or a scholar intern, excuse me, hosted by the Carson College of Business's hospitality department. This pivotal experience ignited her interest in the senior living industry. Her fascination with senior living began with her first visit to a high-end senior community in Seattle during an industry trip. The philosophy she encountered there, retirement is not the end of a human, it is just another transition into a different stage of life. And senior living services help smooth out that transition, profoundly changed her perspective, and inspired her to envision introducing similar communities in Vietnam. After completing a summer internship at the very community in Seattle she first visited, Tracy's belief in the potential of the senior living industry was greatly reinforced. She found deep satisfaction in contributing to the seniors' aging process, strengthening her resolve to pursue a career in this field. Beyond her academic and professional pursuits, she enjoys cooking, playing the piano, spending time with her close friends, and she has also visited 6 countries. These travels have enriched her understanding of cultural diversity with specific focus on culinary transitions. She holds a firm belief that food is the best representation of a culture. So, a little bit about the Vision Center. This is the InVision Podcast hosted by Vision Center, who aims to inspire passionate students in the field of aging services to meet leadership needs of the country with quality higher education programs and partnerships for rewarding, impactful experiences. So, one of the things that really stuck out to me in your introduction is the idea of bringing, the standard of senior living communities to Vietnam. Could you speak more to that?
Oh, yes. So I believe that Vietnam and countries that actually around us, like China, Korea, and Japan, also facing a aging population. Um, Vietnam has not yet facing that phase. However, um, we will see a very near future that will reach to the phase where more there will be more aging population than younger population. So, and we have not yet have any services like the senior community um, in Vietnam that now the concept of senior living community in Vietnam is still more like people still think about them as nursing houses, which is not what I have observed during my industry trip. Visited multiple communities, so I really want to bring a new concept of not only about a holistic senior living service, but also about a new concept of how people age. Like what I have learned is that retirement is not the end of the life, is the start, a beginning of a new process, a new phase of the life. Um, so I want to bring that concept, a proper aging progress back to Vietnam.
Yeah, absolutely. I think that that's a really unique perspective, just about the different cultures, because I think that culturally there are a lot of different stigmas or ideas about how different cultures handle their elders. And so I think that that's definitely a unique perspective that I think a lot of people skip over that. So that is actually really interesting and a perspective that I haven't really heard a lot of. Do you go back to Vietnam ever?
Yes, I every summer I will try to go back to Vietnam one time.
Mhm.
So once a year.
Gotcha. So when you graduate and go through your programs, do you plan on, trying to work with a senior living company that you could potentially go back to Vietnam and try to institute some of these policies, or what are kind of your goals in that regard?
Unfortunately, because of my international student status, we do have a limitation of not being in the US longer than 1 year. So it's really difficult. I mean, like I have received some of the invitation to come back to work for senior living community. However, I believe that there are two things that make me decide to go back to Vietnam directly after graduate. First is because the business environment and business culture of Asia and the US are two is so different. So working in the US for 1 year doesn't really help me much. I will know more about the industry, but luckily during the internship of Granger Cobb Senior Living, I already learned a lot about the industry. Additionally, my summer internship as a community in Seattle actually taught me a lot about how a company should function. So I believe because of the difference in business culture and because I already have an opportunity to learn about the industry, I will go straight back to Vietnam. Maybe um, started to work in a service industry or investment industry and to know more about the Vietnamese market and the consumers' behavior, then I'm still keeping the contacts of people in senior living industry in the US. So in the future, I hope I can bring somebody back.
Yeah, no, absolutely. That's really unique. You bring up the difference of culture between, United States business and Vietnamese business. I mean personally, I don't know what the difference is. Could you explain what that is?
Very different. So for example, talking about senior living, the in Vietnam or in some Asian countries, children are expected to take care of their parents when they getting older. If not, we are considered to be bad children.
Oh.
So because of that, I think that is partly one of the reason why senior living community has not yet been introduced to Vietnam. I know there's a there is a senior living brand that actually um, entered the Chinese market, which has similar stigma and social expectation. Um, so this is one of the difference. The second one would be what we consider as a service in Asian countries, also different in the US. For example, I feel it's very interesting when I go to a restaurant, the waitress started to do small chats with me before they taking my order, which is not a thing in Vietnam at all. We supposed to respect our customer by leave them privacy and not asking questions related to like their daily life.
Oh, that's interesting. I had no idea. That's really
Yeah.
interesting. I knew in like some of the schooling that we've done in regard to like gerontology, we've discussed like, how it's kind of like you said in many cultures other than like basically America, for at least from my understanding, it's very much, you as children, your parents raised you. And so when they get to the point where they need help, you're expected to take care of them, which I think, honestly, I think that that's something that you even see in America, depending on like the family dynamic or something like that. Because I mean, it that is the thinking of a lot of people and majority of people. I mean, even my parents' age, which my dad's 60, my mom's in her 50s. She probably wouldn't be happy about me saying that. But they even like some of their friends are like, no, we would never put our parents in a nursing home. And it's like,
Mm,
it's not a nursing home. You don't understand. It's a premier
yeah.
luxury living. It's basically like living at the
Hotel.
yeah, like at
Exhort.
a luxury hotel like the Waldorf Astoria for the rest of your life.
Yes.
Like, so I think that, there is a lot of stigma, and obviously culturally, that's not going to change overnight. That's something that's been
Mm-hmm.
instilled throughout generations. I'm sure you know that. I don't have to say that, but that brings up a different point just about the different dynamic throughout cultures. So,
Yes.
so what piqued your interest in senior living? Was it the trip you took, the internship you did? Like what made gerontology stick out to you?
Definitely, I have a more realistic observation of a senior living senior living industry during the trip I visited. However, I feel like what empowering me until now is my summer internship. So my main role in that internship was to create activities for seniors. We um did crazy things together, like we bringing them to a piano bar, and um we doing new classes for them, like things that they don't have a chance to learn when they were younger. Now they have time to learn about that, like doing art, like art and zip, or piano, or um um ball dance. Um, what should stand out for me is that what I have observed how my grandparents age is really depressing. It's not because their children don't love them, my parents really love them. It is just because of the generation gap. It's really difficult to understand what are they thinking. Um, so when I work in the service that I'm trained to understand senior citizens, understand their fears, understand their um, wants and their needs, their mental stage, um, makes me feel that I could contribute to make their aging progress being smoother and less depressing,
Mhm.
um, by creating new meanings to their life and keep reminding them positive things that I have done.
Mhm.
So for me, it's something really self satisfied. It's really rewarded, and to be honest, and now I'm saying that I feel like I'm a little bit older than my age already, but I do want, when I'm getting older, I don't want to be in the situation that my grandparents
Mhm.
been before. Um, I want to age happily,
Mhm.
and that's what make me think about, okay, bringing it about the in this industry is about that. We are not changing the social stigma, we also help people life.
Yeah, no, I totally agree with you. That's one thing I've been telling people. I'm like, I already started saving for my retirement, so hopefully I can afford one of these senior living places. Like, because that's the thing, the whole thought process, that's what really kind of makes me like annoyed because the whole thought process of, oh, like I feel so bad for them, their family members just stuck them in a home. It's like, that's a home I would love to be stuck in. Like
Yeah.
I have a family member who works in the industry, so I've grown up like going there. So I've always thought like, oh my gosh, this would be so cool. Then I found out prices and I was like, yeah, it might be better if I start saving because
Yeah, it's really
maybe that's
expensive.
not in the cards for me. So
Yeah. But I heard that now the industry started to target the middle range market.
mhm.
So I hope in the future when we is come to us to age, we can actually afford for the price.
Yeah, that's the other thing. It's like even the people who want to, that access due to cost is crazy these days. And
Hmm.
it seems like the cost is only going to keep going up. I mean, it makes it difficult because you want residents to move in, you want them to be happy, but healthcare is a business. So that's where it kind of gets a little bit difficult trying to toe the line between, that patient care aspect and then also you have to meet your bottom line. But
Yeah.
I think you're right. There are going to be more communities that are more median tier. And, there are communities that are, for Medicaid and, for people who
Hmm.
are under a certain tax bracket and that sort of thing. But I'm definitely interested to see where it goes. And I think once staffing gets kind of back to how it was supposed to be,
Yeah.
that will really help with price too. Because,
Yeah.
agency pricing is crazy. And that's part of the reason why, the yearly percentages have to go up because, you got to make up for it somewhere. But I think that you bring up a really good point with that. And even with the social aspect, like you were talking about
Hmm.
with activities, I think that because I have grandparents that they are still in their house at 90, and it's like, this is crazy. But you think about it, and they still have their friends. If they didn't have their friends, it would be a completely different scenario. Like, I think
Mm.
that's a lot of people move into senior living and they're like, oh, I don't want to be here. I don't need new friends. A lot of people don't like change. I'm one of those people too. But once you move in and you see, oh, I have the chance to make new friends, I can learn a new hobby, I can go on these outings to wine country. It's like, wait, this is kind of fun.
Yeah. So the special thing about senior living service is I feel like we are in the middle of healthcare, between healthcare and service. How would we balance it? We're not like hotel where people just come and then they leave.
Hmm.
And we are like their family. We're taking care of their health. We observe them more than their family members because they stay with us. Um, we It's really hard to balance it out. And one more important thing, as you mentioned, is that when people getting older, they tend to hesitate to step out of their comfort zone, that like making new friends. Some of their friends already gone, like maybe moving to be closer with their grandchildren. um they might feel, a lot of them feel very isolated.
Hmm.
Their social circle is only their family members who always busy and not be with them all the time, or either their family members have to sacrifice their career to be with them all the time and taking care for them,
Hmm.
and to prevent them from isolated from the society. But when they move into a community, what what I have seen, all the staffs trying to do is to bring them out,
Hmm.
try to introduce them to the new neighbor. We do have like special lunch where we invited new residents, and also we invited um, residents that already live in the community that we think share the same hobbies um, with the new residents, for them to make friends, they to prevent isolation, because as you might know, isolation cause a lot of problems to
Hmm.
senior citizens.
Yeah, no, absolutely. I think that that's a really good kind of program to have, is like a new resident orientation, and also bringing in, residents who have been there for a while that, are happy that they're there, and that can, kind of express that to the new residents, and just kind of show them like, it's going to be fun. Like, we can get lunch, we can do kind of whatever in that aspect. I think that that's a really good program to have. Um, so what would you say was the biggest takeaway from either your site visit or your internship? What really stood out to you?
Mm, how people are building this industry. This industry is considered to be a young industry. However, for we have known about nursing homes for so many years, but people within the industry right now, they are trying to fix the stigma of the society about, no, we are not nursing home. The senior living service we provide to you is completely a new chapter. You not coming here to die, you come here to continue your life and live happily. But in order to do that, I feel like they are like pioneers in the industry because they need to educate the market a lot. Um, they need to build up a new brand image, a new image for the potential customers, about how a senior living community would look like. Um, so I think that's the reason why we consider in the industry to be young, because we actually um, still in the phase of the stage of building of the um, market knowledge. It's not something that is already established. And it's even harder because we are fixing the old stigma. Um, so I feel like after seeing what people did in the industry, the most important takeaways that I have to prepare myself mentally to be really strong in order to step into that industry because I might be a pioneer in a market.
Yeah, no, that is a really cool way to put that. And I think that that's a really aspirational goal to have. And that even makes me think like, you know what, that's a great point. I never thought of it that way. I think that one of the things that you mentioned is kind of educating people on what senior living is. And I completely agree with you. I think that that's one of the things that is really the biggest issue when it comes to stigma and misconception is people think that the words independent living and skilled
Mm.
nursing are interchangeable, and it couldn't be further from the truth. I mean, you see it on social media all the time. Oh, this community didn't take care of my mom. They didn't take out her garbage. And it's like, okay, she's an independent living. Like independent living is what we do. So I think that there's just such a lack of information about the continuum of care. And I think that, family members want the best for their parents or grandparents,
Mm,
obviously, 100%. And, you're very much emotionally invested in things. But at the same time, you kind of have to at least know kind of what you're talking about before you go down the rabbit hole. So I think that, you bring up a really good point just about understanding the different aspects. Like I know there's been times where I've been confused between skilled nursing and short-term rehab. Like it took me the longest
mm,
time to grasp the concept that no, the short-term rehab patients, they could be from independent living, they could be from an outside hospital, like and reimbursement rates. I mean, there's so many things that people even in the industry aren't super clear on, but we're doing our best. And I like to think that everybody who works in senior living has that passion for aging services. So if anything, you can't say we don't care.
yeah, right. And you know what? A lot of people also don't really understand how people age. Like
Yeah.
as you say, they cannot differentiate what is independent living and what is like rehab or um I believe there I believe for them they think that is the best way to taking care of senior citizens is to help them with everything, to do
Mhm.
everything for them. And it's not correct because by doing that, you actually telling them that you are aging and now you losing the ability to being
Mhm.
independent. You are not, now you have to depend on me. And they are not happy with that because they used to be the one who protecting you and nurture you and be be the one who decide about their life. They also be the a very they used to be a professional in an industry.
Mhm.
So now if you take away all of their rights and ability to be independent, it's not a right way to treat them. So
Yeah.
I feel like we different from healthcare as we not doing things for people. Um, we have to balance and we have to know the boundary where things that they want us to help and things that we need to let them do by themselves.
Yeah, and I've even noticed like speaking to that is like, if you see a resident struggling to like put their sweater on, your immediate thought is, oh, I'm going to go help them. Half the time they will turn around and tell you, I don't need help. Like
Yes.
and you're not always upset about what you think you're upset about because a lot of that is, oh, I don't want your help because I'm independent and I do not want help. Many of them do not want to accept help. But also at the same time, there's studies that show, you need to let people do like even wheel their own wheelchairs. If they're able to do it, you need to let them do it for as long as they can, or else they're going to lose that ability. So I think that you bring up a really good point of, we want to help, but sometimes the residents don't want our help. And there are times where, you have to kind of be like, okay, well, can we discuss this further? But, I think it is important to, residents need autonomy in their lives and they want to feel like they are independent for as long as they can be.
Yes, I agree. Totally agree. But I learned a lot since after my internship though. I didn't know about it either when before I stepped into senior living industry.
Oh yeah, I think that there's so much importance in doing an internship and field experience. I mean, I started out in high school just working in food service in a senior living community, and even that I learned so much about, you know, Alzheimer's. Like it was a assisted in memory care and independent living community, and one of the days I was there and one of the residents came with a baby doll who she thought was her daughter. And I was so confused because I had never seen that before in my life. And I was able to learn, this is something that happens in memory care patients or cognitive decline. Sometimes they will revert back to when they were younger. And it's really interesting, just getting into a community and being able to see, you're able to learn so much more hands-on than you are from school. School obviously helps you with those initial constructs and theories and, learning about the difference between Medicare and Medicaid. But I do think you need to be in a community and hands-on to really kind of grasp the information and be able to apply it.
Yes. To be honest, when I work in there, the thing that my boss always tell me is that be careful to the energy that you bring
Mm-hmm.
into the community. So I feel like that makes a difference from the hotel industry, because for hotel industry, I just feel like you just need to be professional, and you don't really have to bring in a very, very positive energy. But for senior living, it's different because those aging, like those senior citizens, they do need the young and positive and happy energy to be in their community. Um, so I think it's a hard job.
Yeah, no, I completely agree with you. Well, Tracy Dow, I want to thank you so much for taking the time to talk to me. I learned a lot and gained a new perspective, just about culture and learning about the difference between Vietnam and the United States. That's information that was new to me, and I really enjoyed learning that. So thank you for taking the time. Again, everyone, I'm Riley Taggets. I'm an intern with the Vision Center, and this has been another episode of the InVision Podcast. Thank you for listening.
Thank you.